Hey guys, this is jamonline.ph and we have here the OPPO F7 Youth. So we will take a hands-on of this smartphone, and yes, this is the most affordable smartphone in the F7 series, and we do not have a notch on the display unlike the OPPO F7 and the F7 128GB. It also loses the fingerprint scanner at the back. So what do we have? We have face unlock. We still have the powerful Helio P60 processor inside, a 4 gigs of RAM, and also a 64 gigs of internal storage. We also have a downgraded camera, which is now a 13 megapixel rear camera and also an 8 megapixel front camera. But here's the good news. The price of the smartphone, it's $39.90. It's way cheaper compared to the F7 and the F7 128GB. So what are we waiting for? So let's take a closer look on the OPPO F7 Youth. Okay guys, so you're looking at the OPPO F7 Youth, and as you can see, the look of the smartphone is very similar to the OPPO F7 and the F7 128GB. We still have the glass-like back. I'm not sure if this is plastic or glass, but it does feel good to me. It is not that premium, but again, I like the feel. We have the curved size over here. It's made up of plastic. It looks good to me. I like the diamond black color of the smartphone. As you can see, we have some patterns at the back. That's to, to the premium look of the smartphone. On the right, we got here the power button. We also got here the SIM card tray, or the micro SD card tray, triple card tray, whatever you want to call it. We also got here the volume rocker. Below, we got here the 3.5mm audio jack, or the headphone jack, and also the micro USB port along with the speaker grill. At the back, we have here the LED flash, and of course the single 13 megapixel rear camera. On the front, we got here the 8 megapixel front camera, and as you can see, well guys, we do not have a notch on the smartphone. As you can see, just the small bezel here, small bezel at the top, similar to the OPPO F5. And yes, we do not have the notch unlike the OPPO F7 that we have reviewed before. And don't worry about this one, because this one still looks good to me. I mean, the colors of the display, it's fine, it's good. And I actually like the color reproduction of the display of the smartphone. The display aspect ratio of the smartphone is now 18:9 instead of the 19:9 display aspect ratio on the OPPO F7. Well, the +1 on that display aspect ratio is because of the notch. Since we do not have that notch over here, it's 18:9. Similar again to the OPPO F5. When it comes to applications, well, it's very similar to the one on the OPPO F7. And as you can see, we have here the clone apps, game acceleration for better gaming on the smartphone. We also got here the app split screen, app management, and as you can see, we got here the octa-core processor, which is, by the way, the Helio P60 processor inside the smartphone. We also got here 4 gigs of RAM, 41 gigs available storage. Well, because we have installed some games including PUBG Mobile, Tekken, and Asphalt 8. And yes, this is still a good gaming smartphone. We love the performance of the OPPO F7 running on Helio P60 processor. Well, this one will still not disappoint you guys. Well, except for the camera. Well, the camera of the smartphone is now 13 megapixel, and as you can see, my skin is kinda soft, silky, plasticky skin over here. As you can see, it's AI, and as you can see, it's too soft for me. This is the front camera of the smartphone. Here's another one using the AI mode. Too big eyes for me. I mean, this one is too soft. There's a big difference when it comes to the camera of the OPPO F7 and the F7 Youth. So trying out the rear camera, as you can see here, the dynamic range is noticeable. It's too white on the background, but we do get some fine details over here. Not the best color, but still, for a price of $39.90, I wouldn't complain. It's just a fine mid-range smartphone with a fine camera. Okay, not the best one, well, not really that bad too. So there we go. So those are just some of the shots that I took using the OPPO F7 Youth. You can check out the photos and my review at jamonline.ph. And of course, we do have some applications pre-installed on the smartphone, including the phone manager, of course, WPS Office, Facebook, and more. So we're gonna try out PUBG Mobile on the smartphone. Actually, I've been playing the smartphone. Okay, you were killed in the last round. So give me a second as we play again PUBG Mobile. One of the things that I love with the OPPO F7 is that the smartphone has a decent processor. Well, this one isn't an exception because the OPPO F7 Youth can run this game even up to HD with a high frame rate. I just prefer balanced graphics because it reduces the fluctuation of the frame rates. But as you can see, we do got here some fine gaming, and since we're getting an 18:9 display, we do have some very wide view for the game. The buttons doesn't block the view of the character that much, and since we do not have a notch here, unlike the OPPO F7 and the F7 128GB, the buttons aren't overlapping the display or the notch, so you won't really have any problems. We don't really have any problem with regards to pressing a button on the end of the display or on the notch. So just give me a second here. As you can see, the game is actually pretty fine. Some good frame rates. However, I noticed that we still have a better frame rates, better performance on the OPPO F7 128GB. Well, I wouldn't complain since we're getting a 3990 smartphone with the Helio P60 processor. There's a big difference when it comes to that. So that's it when it comes to the gaming for the OPPO F7 Youth. So overall, the OPPO F7 Youth is a fine smartphone when it comes to performance. I love what we're getting on the smartphone. You got the Helio P60 processor, a nice design, although we do not have the notch display that some people love, and of course a really good camera. Unlike the OPPO, we don't have the good camera of the OPPO F7, but still the OPPO F7 Youth will do just fine. It wouldn't, disappoint you that much. So if you're not into camera and you just want some gaming smartphone, if you want to experience Helio P60 processor, if you want the F7 experience minus the notch and also minus the fingerprint scanner at the back, unfortunately, well, this one would be fine to you. I mean, the face unlock is still fast. I wouldn't complain about the performance because it's really good, almost on par with the Snapdragon 636 processor, and the display without the notch, it has a good color reproduction. So yeah, I guess that's it for our hands-on of the OPPO F7 Youth. So if you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, well, now's the time to subscribe. So once again, I am Jam of JamOnline.ph, and thanks for watching our hands-on of the OPPO F7 Youth.